Hello everyone and welcome to King of the Alpha 1v1 tournament created by Oxide. This is the first game of the tournament, which will be played in between Mceldowney spawning as the green and purple player and Oxide spawning as the black and red player. Oxide has a decent cluster of metal here, and coming down towards the east, he's got metal running to the east, and he's got some more metal running to the west with a nice patch to his 6. Coming over to Mceldowney, he's got a big clump right here to his west and some nice patches to his 6 o'clock. Mceldowney's gonna have to move a little bit more to get this patch of metal right here. So I imagine that most of the fighting is going to be going along the North Pole here, but these spawns look relatively even. With maybe Oxide having a little bit of the initiative in the early game and Mceldowney having a little bit of the initiative in the mid game. Economic wise, both players just have gobs of metal that they can take. Looks like we have a bot factory coming out of Mceldowney, opening up with fabrication vehicles, and it looks like continuous fabricator production coming out of Mceldowney. He's going on with energy with his commander, trying to walk his commander as little as possible. Coming over here to Oxide's base. Looks like he has also opened up standard with a bot fabrication facility and going into energy with his commander, laying down mechs with his first fabricators. I think this has the potential to be one of the best games in round 1. Pretty fairly even match between Oxide and Mceldowney from my experiences of playing with these gentlemen. Looks like we have a vehicle factory coming out of Oxide. Zipping over here to Mceldowney's base real quick. He's got a energy storage he's laid down. Looks like after 4 energy, 4 power gens, he's laid down a energy storage. Going into more power gens with his commander. Still no second unit producing structure out of Mceldowney. Got his fabricators working together here to take his mechs as quickly as possible. Also have a energy storage coming out of Oxide with his vehicle factory. He's getting out an early scout. Let's see where he goes ahead and sends a scout if he can locate Mceldowney relatively early. That'll give him the initiative, or does he head off in the wrong direction? Continuing to build power gens. Looks like he's getting up another energy storage with his commander and the scout. Looks like it has a chance to be headed in the right direction. Where does he send it? Looks like it's going to be headed in the right direction. More vehicle factories coming out of Oxide. He's changed the direction of that scout, so we'll just have to see if he heads over this way. We got an air scout out for Mceldowney. Looks like his second unit producing structure was a vehicle factory, or this air factory. Probably the air factory. I'm imagining he's using Collins' build here. Getting out some fighters. Continuous fabricator production out of Mceldowney. Looks like he's adding another vehicle factory. Continuing with the mech's expansion. Let's go ahead and go to the tactical view. See how these players are lining up. Looks like we have 5 unit producing structures with 1 on the way for Oxide coming over to Mceldowney's base. Looks like we have 3 unit producing structures with 2 on the way. The scout's coming around Mceldowney 6 o'clock and is gonna get a visual on this base. Looks like he has 2 scouts out. Mceldowney's air scout is headed in the right direction and flies over the mechs and just completely flies over the entire base. So both players know where each other is located at. Looks like the scout was mopped up by that anti-air turret. Looks like the initiative is in Oxide's hands. He's moving out for some early aggression here with some ants. Mceldowney just has 5 bots on hand. 7 minutes and 30 seconds. We got a push coming out for Oxide, and does he stop it short and just slowly continue building unit producing structures closer towards his enemy, or is he going to make a push? If he were to make a push right now, he would be able to do some damage to Mceldowney for sure, and I think he does need to do this because Mceldowney has had more fabrication vehicles working on mechs expansions, whereas Oxide is just now getting up to 4 workers working on mechs, and they're working on different metal spots where they're not working on the same, so his income is going to come in just a little bit slower. But right now he definitely has the unit advantage, and Mceldowney is pretty much unprotected at his western flank over here. He's just got a couple anti-air turrets mixed in. Looks like we're going to get the fighters scouting this push over here, and let's see what kind of reaction that gets out of Mceldowney. No, he's not throwing up any turrets instantly, so it looks like this push has the potential to do a nice bit of damage to these mechs, and that's gonna either even up the game for Oxide or put him on a positive footing going into the mid game. First engagement coming in at 9 minutes. Looks like Mceldowney's reacting with some bots and some ants of his own, which forces Oxide he's just stepped back for a second. His 6th sense was going off. This is going to be just depending on micro right here. First engagement of the tournament coming in. Mceldowney getting a good flank coming in at the 6 o'clock of these tanks. Not taking very many losses, keeping the bots moving. The ants are able to rotate their turrets around. Good micro by Oxide, not having his tanks always shoot these buildings and get totally picked apart by these bots. He's able to move through the metal spots and able to take out 3 extractors, 4 extractors. Able to take out 4 extractors. Mceldowney lost a couple bots trying to bring the ants to intercept. Do we have any further? Yes, we have another push coming over here to Mceldowney's eastern flank. So we got pushes going on both sides. This is testing Mceldowney's APM here, and he ran a couple of his ants needlessly into the turrets that Oxide's creating at the front. Mceldowney gets the best of the engagement on the west, coming back over here to the eastern flank. Oxide's doing more damage to the metal. Mceldowney's losing 2 more. Looks like he's going to lose at least 4 more. Another hard push coming in at the front. We have no defenses located at the front for Mceldowney. Oxide slowly starting to catch up in the mechs expansion. Coming into the center, coming into the 6 o'clock, taking out some power gens. Mceldowney trying to rally forces in here to save these power gens. More metal going to be lost over here on the western flank. Just confrontations going on in multiple places across the map. Oxide able to do some damage here. Looks like Mceldowney is continuously trying to expand to his 6 o'clock. Gonna lose some fabbers and some more metal. Coming to the commander, he's getting repaired. 90% health. More metal being lost at the 6 o'clock. We have a counter push coming in from Mceldowney. Looks like he's just headed in the wrong direction. That turret pushed him out of there. Good defensive front for Oxide. Meanwhile, at the 6 o'clock at Mceldowney's base, he's trying to intercept this force that has been able to take out a bunch of metal on his eastern flank. Nice little back and forth tug of war we got going on. Oxide continuously trying to expand to his 6 o'clock. Counterattack coming in from Mceldowney, able to take out a unit producing structure. Looks like Oxide's going to lose 2 unit producing structures now, getting his army into position to intercept the attack. Mceldowney losing some fighters needlessly there, flying them over the tanks, and can just runs in his army headlong into Oxide. Oxide able to get an excellent exchange right there, which is going to allow him to move out on the offensive instead of attacking in. It looks like he's going to be trying to go after Mceldowney's mechs. Changes his mind, is coming right up the gut. Mceldowney streaming in forces to Oxide's base from this outer lying unit producing structure expansion that he's got going on at Oxide's flank. T2 bots out for Oxide. Let's see what kind of damage this T2 bot can do. Looks like it's just down to 10% health after getting a couple kills and falls. Oxide is forced here on the back foot, and he is had enough and is coming out for some aggression. Both players just running headlong into each other. Who's going to get the better exchange in this engagement? So far it looks like Mceldowney is getting a better exchange. His units, whenever they're coming into conflict, are more in a line, where Oxide is coming in here single file. That gave Mceldowney the better army exchange there. Now Mceldowney's forces are coming in single file into Oxide's defenses, and he's just losing tanks without getting much damage done. This turret is still at 50% health. Pretty even back and forth game at the moment. Looks like Mceldowney is going to be in risk of losing all these unit producing structures. Oxide moving out with an attack to his eastern flank, which will be Mceldowney's western front, since here's the North Pole. Oxide just continuously trying to expand his 6 o'clock. Does Mceldowney notice and start cutting these units or not? Oxide able to take out the initial ant force that Mceldowney had out here to greet him. Now he's trying to get into the unit producing structures. How many is he going to be able to take out? Coming at a stop right outside Mceldowney's unit producing structure expansion over here, and these units aren't firing on these buildings. It's kind of unfortunate for Oxide. He might have been able to take out one unit producing structure there. Mceldowney coming in with assault, able to finally get that turret down. Looks like Mceldowney has been able to expand a little bit more. Now he's into Tier 2 economy. Not seeing any T2 economy out of Oxide yet. Now we're going to start having attacks coming from multiple directions from... nope. Mceldowney's just holding up. I would like to see some more expansions out of Oxide to his west side. He's letting Mceldowney encroach on him too much over here. He's got a single fabrication vehicle taking mechs expansions over here, where Mceldowney has a team of fabrication vehicles picking up mechs for him at the back side of the planet. T2 bots coming out for Oxide, continuously moving, able to get make that exchange go well in his favor. Looks like our first two levelers are out on the field for Mceldowney. He's going into T2 energy. Oxide coming out with a push. The T2 bots are just running straight into the units. So with this leveler in the mix, I believe Mceldowney will be able to thwart this attack out of Oxide. He's not cutting the units at all, though. Oxide doing some nice punching power. Mceldowney loses the leveler. Oxide continuing to move forward. Oxide getting a decent army exchange. Mceldowney continuing to move forward, trying to intercept the oncoming units. And Oxide realizes that the exchange is no longer going in his favor, so he kites back. While he's kiting back, Mceldowney's losing these bots for free. Maybe took 5% health out of these two ants right here. Excellent micro by Oxide. This is shaping up to be a good game. Nice tug of war by both of these players. Fighting on multiple fronts. Constant creation of unit producing structures. Oxide unfortunately has quit taking these mechs right here. And he's no longer expanding down this coast. Well, he is expanding down the coast, but he's only got one fabricator. The longer that this game goes on, Mceldowney's slowly going to have a larger and larger economic lead unless Oxide does something about it. He's come over here to all this T2 metal, and Mceldowney hasn't noticed, and he's building a turret just right in the heart of this metal. Looks like Oxide is going to take out some T2 metal with that one. Coming back to the fronts, it looks like Oxide's coming in with another attack on Mceldowney's unit producing structures. Mceldowney coming forward with a big assault right up the gut. Is he going to be able to do damage, or is Oxide going to pull some excellent micro off and able to push back this assault? And his levelers are just now barely starting to come out. This is a critical timing for Mceldowney. Oh my goodness, he's going to get some T2. Oh, a T2 factory goes down! Mceldowney has destroyed one T2 factory. This forces Oxide to come forward. He's trying to save these T2 factories. Bunch of ants going down for Mceldowney. Mceldowney trying to engage lateral and not run straight directly into the army. And looks like Oxide is going to be able to save the T2 factory. Excellent save. Building these T2 factories at the front lines might cost Oxide the game, because we're going to have larger and larger level of force accumulating for Mceldowney while Oxide's trying to play catch up. Although we have two T2 tank factories about to finish, and Oxide finally cleans up the attack. But another push coming right up the gut from Mceldowney. He knows about this T2 factory and he's coming for it. Whereas Mceldowney's T2 factories are located further from the 12 o'clock of his base, and he'll be able to kite through his base while the army attacks. It looks like Mceldowney's coming forward from multiple sides. He's losing the engagement on his west and able to take down another T2 factory. What a ginormous pickup for Mceldowney. And he halts his army advancement there. Starting to move forward. Running some bots in. Oxide has to save these T2 factories. Trying to get the army in a nice concave to where all of his units are able to shoot, but they're coming in just a little too close, and Mceldowney's able to pick off these guys as they're coming in here almost single file. These T2 factory losses are huge. Tide changers. Looks like we're going to have another T2 factory going down. For Oxide. Mceldowney's forces continuously pushing forward. And he's just coming again for this other T2 factory. T2 factories just dropping left and right for Oxide. Is this the beginning of the end for Oxide, or is he going to be able to rally his defenses and save these T2 unit producing structures and start making some T2 back here where they're not so vulnerable? Mceldowney pressing forward. Pretty even army exchange. Looks like Mceldowney's coming out a little on top. Except this T2 factory is under assault. Under 50% health. Bunch of T2 power gens going up for Oxide. Some defenses. Oxide's trying to push forward and save this T2 tank factory. Is he going to be able to get it done? It's at like 15% health. Oxide trying to keep it alive. Mceldowney smelling blood, coming forward for the attack. And it looks like he's able to push through Oxide's army and come forward. And he's continuously moving closer to this T2 factory. Are we going to have another T2 factory loss? Boom! And another T2 factory goes down for Oxide. Starting to rally his forces. He's trying to push forward to shorten the lifespan of the attack out of Mceldowney. Mceldowney continuing to add reinforcements. Looks like Oxide was able to clean up Mceldowney's unit producing structures on his eastern front. But that left his army just not quite large enough to handle Mceldowney's assault right up the gut. As you can see, we've lost at least 3 T2 factories from Oxide, while Mceldowney's T2 factories have been untouched and producing this entire time. Oxide able to take down all of Mceldowney's T2 metal extractors. He needs to start throwing up metal extractors since he's got all these turrets up here to defend. Nice pickup by Oxide, taking down these Mceldowney's T2 metal. Mceldowney's like, where did my metal go? It got killed by turrets, buddy. He's trying to throw up some more T2 metal. More fabrication vehicles coming out for Oxide, trying to expand. He's starting to bolster that singular fabrication vehicle he's had expanding down this coast the entire time. Starting to realize how important this metal along this coast is going to be. And we have a huge assault coming in from Mceldowney. And another T2 factory goes down. Just constantly losing T2 factories from Oxide. And this army's just barely missing these turrets. If these turrets were just shifted over a little bit, that would help out Oxide so much. And the commander's forced to fall back. Looks like we have T2 bots starting to attack Oxide's eastern flank, while Mceldowney's gathering up his force at the 12 o'clock. And these T2 bots are picking up a bunch of fabricator kills. Gets a T2 fabber. Oxide notices, pulls the fabbers back to the line of turrets. Man, he should have built that T2 factory behind his wall of turrets here. Mceldowney coming in for the attack. With the radar here, this has given Oxide some good vision, so he's able to get some decent army exchanges. More T2 bots coming in and doing damage. Looks like Oxide slowly extending his defense to try to protect those T2 factories. We got assaults coming in from the 12 o'clock at multiple different angles from Mceldowney. He's made it inside Oxide's base. Oxide continuously throwing up defenses ring around in and throughout his base. Is it going to be enough to keep him alive? We have shellers coming in for Oxide. And bots counter shellers so nicely. But Mceldowney's not microing the bots, and the shellers are able to take down the bots. Shellers are getting excellent trades on this ant attack on Oxide's eastern flank, but the 6 o'clock, or his 12 o'clock, is just under relentless pressure from Mceldowney. Mceldowney's smelling blood and continuously moving forward. There's a leveler in this mix right here. This commander could be in trouble. Looks like Mceldowney sniffs out the commander, and he's moving forward. Commander's at 90% health. Commander's at 75% health. Commander's at 50% health. Oxide's moving him back, trying to keep the commander alive. Commander goes underneath 50% health. 40% health. Oxide moving back, trying to go through the turrets. Continuously moving his tanks forward, try to keep this commander alive. Mceldowney under hot pursuit of the commander. The levelers are tearing through the turrets. The commander's turning around. He's coming to try to engage this army. He doesn't have any fabricators repairing him up. 25% health, 15% health. And he's able to get the kills. Oxide's commander stays alive. Mceldowney's army is shifted directions and is moving to the southeast of Oxide's base. Looks like he's going to be trying to take out some more unit producing structures. Meanwhile, on the eastern front, it looks like this wall of turrets is preventing the bots from coming in here, but he lost his T2 structures that he has out in front of these turrets. Oxide had good defensive placements, but his unit producing structures were out in front of his defenses. And Mceldowney's army is pushing forward. Oxide's trying to pull his commander back. His commander's under 50% health. We don't have any fabricators coming to repair the commander. Mceldowney's sniffing blood. Oxide's trying to drag him through his turrets. Oxide's quit moving his commander. Mceldowney pressing forward. 30% health, 20% health, 10% health, 5% health. And Mceldowney takes the first game of the King of the Alpha 1v1 tournament. Good game, well played, guys. I'm assuming that there's going to be multiple casters. Thank God, because I'm losing my voice, as you can tell. What an exciting back and forth match that was. Come back and check out all these games that everybody's going to be casting for your guys' pleasure for King of the Alpha. Thanks for watching, guys. Come back and see the rest of the tournament. Adjudicator of